Home Depot or Target. It's not even something like Apple's iCloud. We're talking about one of the biggest banks in the world, JPMorgan Chase. Hackers were able to access the computer systems and get some information from accounts on more than 90 servers, compromising, and this is a huge number, 76 million household accounts and 7 million small business accounts. We are joined tonight by a man that we have leaned on for months now, local security researcher Ken Westin from tripwire.com. When I first met you, we were talking about Target. Since then, we have had Home Depot, and now we have Chase. And in between all those, we've had smaller breaches that have been in the millions rather than, 76 million. Let's talk about Chase first. How much as a customer of Chase Bank should I be concerned?
With this breach, not a lot. I mean, there's a lot of people that are impacted by this, but from what we can tell right now, financial information wasn't compromised. Looks like it's just limited to names, your phone number, and your email. But you do need to be concerned now about the next phase of those attacks, is that they might be using phishing attacks. So the attackers might send you an email that looks like it comes from the bank. So I recommend not clicking on any links. If you do get a notification from your bank, go directly to your web browser, type in the domain of your bank, and then log in from there. Don't click on any links in any emails. If anyone calls you as well, saying they're from the bank, they're going to know your name. Just be careful and say, hey, I'll call you back, or go directly to the website and call the 800 number that's on the bank's website as well. When
we look at the origin of this particular attack, who is prime suspect number one?
Usually these attacks are coming out of Russia or Eastern Europe, pretty much because they can operate, these criminal syndicates can operate there pretty much with impunity. There's really no recourse for law enforcement in the U.S. to go after those guys. It's very difficult for them to do.
How are they getting into these databases in the first place?
There's a lot of different ways, a lot of different vulnerabilities, a lot of different, we call them attack vectors to get into these networks. With this one in particular, it was a very sophisticated attack. It's called a zero-day attack, so there's really no way for a bank or an organization to defend against it. We always say that it's not a matter of if you're going to get breached, but when. And luckily in this case, it looks like that JPMorgan was prepared for this attack, the way that they protected the financial data and passwords and other sensitive information.
Okay, so that's the good news, that they don't necessarily have our account numbers and the way that we get into our accounts. You told me, though, months ago when we were talking about the Target breach, and I'll remind everybody that affected 40 million customers. You said, look, if you really want to protect yourself, do what I do. Get rid of your cards every few weeks or every few months yeah. And start over again, which to me at the time seemed insane. But the more this happens, the more you're making a lot of sense.
Yeah, I mean, people think I'm paranoid, but now, maybe I'm sense of reason,
What do you do exactly again? Remind us.
Usually you want to change your credit cards every 3 to 6 months, depending on how much they use them. Just realize that your credit cards, they're sort of promiscuous, right? The more you use them in restaurants or online, the higher the risk that it's going to be compromised. So the more you use it, the odds are that you want to replace that, again, every 3 to 6 months or so. Usually, if a debit card or whatever, if you keep asking for it, you're going to have to pay maybe $5 to replace the card, but at least for me, that peace of mind is worth it.
Okay, and we're out of time, but I need to ask you real quick. Apple is going to soon allow people to be paying with their phones. Are you a fan? Not a fan? Should I do this? Should I not, security-wise?
I'm on the fence. I think it's a good thing for convenience, but it's going to be, the jury's still out how they're going to handle it. I'm a little concerned about that, but so far things are looking good.
Ken, you have the answer to every question I ever have. I appreciate you being here, and I know we'll rely on you next time when there's a huge breach, because there will be another one.
Thank you.
Okay, still time to answer tonight's show question. What's your favorite sports rivalry, and why? Your responses